I'm Stephen Kinzer, author of The True Flag, Theodore, Roosevelt, Mark Twain, and the Birth of American Empire. For me, the great discovery of this book is that this history ever happened. This great debate that shook America is something that essentially we've lost. The entire United States was caught up in a great debate over whether this was a good thing to do or not. All the major political and intellectual figures of the age took part. And this culminated in a great 32-day debate in the US Senate. So that was the focus of my research. But as always happens when you take on a fascinating project like this, you make new discoveries, unanticipated ones. One of the discoveries that I made while writing this book was of a person I'm embarrassed to say I had never heard of. His name is Carl Schurz. The only time I'd ever heard that name mentioned is that there's a Carl Schurz Park in Manhattan. But even people that I've spoken to there tell me they don't know anything else about Carl Schurz except the fact that this park is named after him. So I did get a chance to investigate him because he was one of the most articulate and outspoken anti-imperialists. He was so articulate. His background was fascinating. Carl Schurz had fought as a teenager in the 1848 revolution in his native Germany. Then he had to flee. He came to the United States, became a follower of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln later made him US consul in Spain. When the Civil War broke out, Schurz came home. He became a general in the Civil War. He led troops at Chancellorsville and Gettysburg. He went on to become the first German-born US senator. He was Secretary of the Interior. In the late 19th century, he would have been known to all Americans. He was the leading spokesman for good government and civic reform and against political corruption. And as I said, also a great anti-imperialist. It's from one of Carl Schurz's speeches that I take the title of my book, The True Flag. So January 2nd, 1899 was the day when President McKinley submitted to the US Senate the treaty by which we were going to seize Spanish islands. That set off this enormous debate. On that same day, Carl Schurz was addressing the convocation at the University of Chicago. He gave a very long 11,000-word speech in which he demolished every argument in favor of imperial expansion. And he concluded with a wonderful crescendo from which I take the title of my book. What he told the crowd was this: "Let us raise high the flag of our country, not as an emblem of reckless adventure and greedy conquest, of betrayed professions and broken pledges, of criminal aggressions and arbitrary rule over subject peoples, but the old, the true flag, the flag of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, the flag of the government of, for, and by the people, the flag of national faith held sacred, and national honor unsullied, the flag of human rights and good example to all nations, the flag of true civilization, peace, and goodwill to all men." That to me is not only a wonderful summation of the policy for restraint in American foreign policy, it's also a wonderful demonstration of how the points that were being made in this argument more than 100 years ago are so valid today.